You know they're not right for you. Everyone around you knows it too. And yet, you check your phone every 4 minutes, hoping. Not for someone who adores you, for someone who barely texts back. Here's the part that should stop you cold. Anthropologist Helen Fisher scanned the brains of people who had just been rejected by someone they loved, not people in happy relationships, but people who had just been dumped, ghosted, or turned away. You'd expect grief. Instead, in several participants, activity in reward-related regions, including areas linked to dopamine, was actually elevated compared to earlier stages of the relationship. Rejection didn't shut the system down. In some cases, it appeared to intensify it. Read that again. Wanting someone who doesn't want you back isn't a malfunction of the reward system. It may be the reward system working exactly as built, just aimed at the wrong target. This isn't a character flaw. It isn't proof of low self-esteem, bad taste, or some deep, unresolved issue from childhood. Something stranger is happening, and it starts in a part of your brain that has almost nothing to do with love at all. Here's where it gets even stranger. Psychologist Dorothy Tenoff coined a term in the 1970s for this exact experience: limerence. Not love, she argued, but something adjacent to it, an involuntary, obsessive state triggered specifically by uncertainty. Tenoff's interviews with hundreds of people found a consistent pattern. The strongest, most consuming feelings weren't reported by people in secure, requited relationships. They were reported by people caught in ambiguity, people who didn't know if their feelings were returned. Certainty, it turns out, is almost bad for obsession. Uncertainty is rocket fuel. This connects to something B.F. Skinner discovered decades earlier in a completely different context. Skinner found that behavior reinforced unpredictably, sometimes rewarded, sometimes not, becomes far more persistent and harder to extinguish than behavior reinforced every single time. A slot machine doesn't addict you by paying out constantly. It addicts you by paying out just often enough to keep you guessing. A person who sometimes texts back, sometimes seems interested, sometimes pulls away, is running the exact same mechanism on your nervous system. Not maliciously, often without realizing it at all. So, why would your brain have evolved to respond this way? Here, the evidence gets more speculative and worth treating carefully. Some evolutionary psychologists propose that ambiguous, effortful courtship may once have functioned as a costly signal, a way of proving commitment and genetic fitness through sheer persistence. Chasing something difficult to obtain could, in theory, have filtered for partners willing to invest real effort. This idea remains debated, and it's far from settled science, but it offers one possible thread connecting an ancient mating strategy to a very modern kind of heartbreak. Here's a question worth sitting with. If your brain rewards the chase itself, separate from the actual outcome, then what exactly are you longing for when you long for someone who doesn't want you? It might not be them at all. It might be the specific neurological state their unavailability creates, the anticipation, the hope, the small, cruel spike every time they finally respond. You may not be in love with a person. You may be in love with a feeling that only uncertainty can produce, and mistaking that feeling for love because it happens to be pointed at someone's face. That distinction matters more than it sounds like it should. Because a feeling generated by uncertainty resolves the moment uncertainty does. Ask someone obsessed with a distant, unavailable person what would happen if that person suddenly became fully available, fully certain, fully present. Researchers studying limerence have noted an uncomfortable pattern. The intensity often fades once the ambiguity does. Not always, but often enough that it's worth asking honestly. You weren't necessarily chasing a person. You may have been chasing the one emotional state your nervous system finds hardest to walk away from. An answer it hasn't gotten yet. So the next time you find yourself aching for someone who won't fully choose you, you don't have to shame yourself for it, and you don't have to assume it means something is broken. You can simply ask one honest question: do I want this person, or do I want to finally stop wondering? If it's the second, you're not chasing love. You're chasing a question mark and calling it a heart because your body has never learned how to tell the two apart.